Hi, it's Nathan here coming to you from Jibung Industrial Park, and today I'm answering the question, how long does ISO certification take? So the short answer is 10 to 12 weeks. That's what we normally recommend to new clients. You'll see in the market that there's anywhere from 5 to 10 days all the way up to 12 months. Let's start with the 5 to 10 day claim. That can be done. There are organizations that will do that, but it is very extreme. Any ISO person watching this probably has a little bit of a chuckle to themselves when they hear that. So for starters, the audit is normally a few days right there. So a company advertising a 5-day ISO certification process, you basically have zero time for system build and implementation. Us personally, we would never want to be involved in something like that, with a few very specific exceptions. One being if the company already has compliance systems in place and they're ready to just move to audit. The other being if it's a really small company with a very narrow scope. But even then, it's very rushed and probably not something that we would want to be affiliated with. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got 12 months. That's perfectly reasonable, especially for companies that have a lot of staff, a lot of facilities, or for companies that want a staged and steady rollout. Perfectly reasonable, no arguments here. So why do we recommend the 10 or 12 week turnaround? A lot of consultancies will do a 4 to 6 week turnaround, and we have done that ourselves. There's no problem with that. The only issue we've had is that you need to book the audits well in advance, and with a 4 to 6 week turnaround, it puts a lot of pressure on the business to get everything done in a very short window. It is enough time, but if you run into project issues or staffing issues, it can be stressful. The audits can be rescheduled, but the closer you get to audit, the bigger the issue may be with having to reschedule, especially if travel is booked. And if you were to ring up a week before audit and try to reschedule, there may be fees attached with that. The auditors are generally very good and they will work with you, but that's the main reason we won't generally recommend a 4 to 6 week turnaround unless the client really needs it done that quickly. So the 10 to 12 week process that we normally recommend is broken into a few stages. The first 1 to 2 weeks is where we build the system, so where we make all the documentation. Stage 2, or the second stage, is where you do the implementation. So that's where you induct all your staff, run all your meetings, do the inspections, do the emergency drills, that sort of stuff. And then finally, you move to the audit and certification, and then you are certified. So yeah, hope that helps, and see you next time.